Okay, so in the last video, you guys saw that the 5.3 was no bueno. It had a ton of melted pistons stuck to the cylinder wall. One of you guys suggested some muriatic acid would help get that aluminum off, but I'd already made plans otherwise. So we're gonna save the 5.3. I've got it sitting over here. So I've already fully disassembled this thing and got the block here wrapped up just for storage. We're gonna keep this thing safe and on the shelf for a little while because you never know what we might do with it in the future. Basically, after the video, I actually found out that there was there's one of them, you can kind of see it. There was 3 bent rods, 2 or 3, I can't really remember. So 3 broken pistons, broken, melted, however you want to say it, and I think 3 bent rods. So even if the block was savable, I still needed pistons and rods. So it is what it is. I'm gonna keep this for future reference just in case I want to build something down the road. So yeah, that's that. Here is kind of all the stuff, not all of it, but what I could salvage out of the 5.3. So we got the camshaft that's still in really good condition. This is a Brian Tooley Stage 2, if I can remember right, turbo cam. And then just newish. They were new when I put them in, LS7 lifters. And then the oil pump. There was a little bit of trash in the oil pan from the pistons. I'm gonna disassemble this and see if it's okay and can reuse it. Still had good oil pressure even after the piston melted down, so should be good. But like I said, I'm gonna take this apart, make sure it's not scored real bad, and then probably reuse it because it is like brand new. So I've already picked up a replacement motor for the S10, and I had some footage of picking it up, but I lost that footage. So let me just show you what I got. I know it doesn't look like much right now. That's because I've already disassembled it. You can see just a pile of oil pans and other parts here. But this here is, if you can see it, I don't know if it's gonna focus. There we go. This is an Iron Block 6.0 Gen 3. This actually came from Nani. In the last video, I was talking about how he doesn't want to give up shit or sell anything, but he actually let this one go, and I thank him a lot for it because he gave me a hell of a deal on it too. Iron Block 6.0 came out of his Suburban, his daily driver, with somewhere around 200,000 miles on it. He doesn't really remember exactly how many when he pulled it out, but there was nothing really wrong with it. He had his transmission go out, and he had a fresh rebuilt 6.0 sitting there. So he decided when he pulled the transmission out to rebuild it, he just threw in the fresh motor too. So this was a short block when I got it, no heads, because he put his heads on the new motor. So that's fine because I've got these 706s that I plan on reusing off of the 5.3. Those will get cleaned up and reused. So I picked this thing up a few days ago and got it all disassembled, checked everything out. So far it checks out pretty good. The cylinders are in good condition. We're gonna ball hone those. The cam bearings, they've seen better days. And I know with LS's, you're not supposed to check the cam bearings, but for $25, it's just cheap insurance. Like, I would hate to put this thing together and have oil pressure issues. For 25 bucks and like 50 bucks in labor to get it done, so 75 bucks, under 100 bucks, it's just cheap insurance for me. So this is gonna get sent out to get cleaned up and cam bearings put in it here eventually. And then the pistons and rods are over here. Now, as much as I would love to do a forged rotating assembly, as previously stated, probably a couple different times, it's just not in the budget. So we're sticking with the stock bottom end stuff. We're just gonna have fun with it. Taking what was in there, cleaning it up, freshening it up. I'll probably do new rings with them gapped. The last ones were gapped too, just so you know. I had the last rings gapped. A lot of people commented that the rings needed to be gapped and that's what caused the piston to break, but that's not it. I had those ones gapped at 30 thousandths. So we'll gap these ones too. Rod bearings, they look really good. I don't know if I'm going to mess with those or not. The main bearings though, that's a different story. All of them looked pretty good except for the number 3, the thrust. I don't know if you can see, but a little bit of trash went through it there. And then the very back one here, this one's the worst. It's actually got quite a bit of, you can see it and you can hear it. It looked like water or something got in there and sat, so it's pitted pretty good. So this is the back bearing, you can see, and then the thrust bearing had a little bit of trash go through it. But I think we can just polish this up, do a little at-home polish on it, and then we'll run it. So I'll probably do a video on how to do that here coming up pretty soon. I got to get the sandpaper and polishing stuff. So the plan with this block right now, send it out to get cleaned and cam bearings put in it. We're going to polish the crank, put new main bearings in it. Still going to decide whether I'm going to mess with the rod bearings or not. They look good. I've got ARP rod bolts from the last motor to put in those. And then we're going to reuse the same camshaft and lifters because they're in good shape. And then go through the oil pump, make sure it's in good shape. So I think for right now, I am going to take apart this oil pump and see how it looks. There's a little bit of sludge, metal looking stuff in here, but I think it's fine to reuse. I mean, what's a new pump cost? 100 bucks? Nah, we'll reuse it. It's fine. Well, even better than reusing this, I forgot that I had this sitting in storage. This is a basically brand new high pressure oil pump. I took the cover off just to check it, and it's brand new. I completely forgot that I had this. I'm pretty sure that this came on the 5.3 when I got it, and I think I took it off and then misplaced it, so I bought a new one, and then I found this one again when I was cleaning out my storage. So it's over here in these totes. But this is basically brand new, high pressure, standard volume oil pump. It's the Melling 10295. And I know that I've got it comes with the standard pressure spring too. So I'm not usually a fan of the high pressure oil pumps. So I can switch out that spring if I want it to be standard pressure, or just pull the spring out of this one and put it in this one. But so I think we're gonna do the modifications to this where we dimple the rotor here. And that basically just helps. Here, I've got this one out. I'll show you on it. On both sides of this rotor here, we're basically going to take a drill bit and drill dimples into it, and that helps create a cushion of oil between the housing and this faceplate here. So it just puts a little bit of a cushion of oil to help prevent wear on these rotors. That's what we're going to do to this. And then might get crazy and start porting this out, clean it up a little bit, but I don't know how much of a difference that really makes. But we're gonna try this just to try it and then kind of go from there. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is take my center punch and try and get as centered on these little round parts as possible. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't really matter. I mean, we want to be as centered as we can on these. So I'm just going to take my center punch here and make a little center punch on each of these, and just do this all the way around on both sides. Alright, so now that it's dimpled, we're going to be taking, I'm using a 5/16 drill bit. There might be a certain size that everyone's using on forums and stuff like that, but, and the guys on Power Nation, one of those TV channels, kind of did a video showing how to do this, and they might have a certain size that they used, but I couldn't find any of the videos or anything like that, so I'm just going to start with a 5/16 and just kind of go from there. It should be plenty enough. So now all that's left to do is just take the drill bit and enlarge all of these dimples. Alright, so now that we're all done drilling both sides, we want to make sure that this is smooth and there's no burrs or jagged edges. It feels pretty smooth, but we're going to just double check. And I've got some 220 sandpaper right here, something that's not real too aggressive, stuck down to the flat stainless steel bench here. And I'm just going to spray it with a little soapy water just to help wet sand it. And we're just gonna kind of do this little action here. Just make sure that there's no high spots or anything like that that's gonna cause a problem. So we'll just sit here and work this a little bit. And then check it. Oh, sandpaper's not wanting to stick now that it's wet. Go figure, right? But that should be good. Just like that, dimpled. So now what this is going to allow is a little bit of oil to sit in here and just help prevent wear against this and the cover, and then also the case on the inside. So now all that's left to do is the exact same thing on the other gear. And I guess since I'm here, I might as well take and clean up the inside here where the oil flows in and out of the pump housing. There's a lot of sharp edges, and those can create cavitation in the oil if it has to go over a hard edge. So I've got some of these little sanding discs. I've got some of these little sanding discs for like porting heads and stuff. So I figured I've got it apart, I might as well do it. So we'll come in here, like here where the outlet is. We'll just get rid of this sharp edge, kind of make it more round. And then same here on the inlet. There's this little step right here that we can smooth out. We got to leave this edge right here for the O-ring to seal against, but inside here we'll clean all that stuff up. And I'm just going to use this on my drill, kind of go slow and just kind of massage it out a little bit. Alright, and so with a little bit of time with the sanding disc, it's not going to focus. As you can see, we cleaned it up a little bit, didn't go too crazy. So we got the inlet and we also got the outlet cleaned up a little bit. Not too crazy, but should help a little bit. And I talked about changing the spring out to make it low pressure, or standard pressure I should say. But these things are in there really tight. I'm pretty sure they put Loctite on them, and I just stripped it out trying to get it out. So it looks like we're running a high pressure oil pump. So now all I gotta do is just put the rotors back in it and put the cover on, and it'll be good to go. Alright, that does it for me out here tonight, guys. Stay tuned for more engine updates on the S10. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and learned something from it. That's the first time I've ever modified one of these oil pumps. Will it make a difference? I don't know, but we're going to try it and see. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to try and keep up on the videos and the updates as we put this engine together and try and show you a little bit more of what I'm doing, like the actual hands-on, maybe a little bit how-tos or how I do it. So stay tuned for more videos to come, and subscribe if you haven't already, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys on the next one.